All right, Thursday edition, fellas. 1 day away from Flamin' Dragon Friday. Going to try and hit the under for 2 straight weeks. Do you want to start out, though, this if you haven't been keeping up with it, this Murdaugh trial, because I watched that Netflix documentary, that limited
series. You did watch it?
On it. Yeah, man, it's nuts.
How many episodes is that?
It's 3. It's a limited series, but the trial's going on right now. Apparently, this dude's like a high-level attorney, so he's like, I'm hearing people say he's like the best witness or defendant on the stand that they've ever seen, like the way he answers stuff. I'm just looking at all this, man. You're spending $60,000 on pills a week. You know, the housekeeper mysteriously dies. You have the Stephen Smith kid mysteriously dies, and then all the stuff. You know, obviously the girl in the boat passes away, and then your son and wife get shot when you're at the kennels. I don't know, man. Like this. Again, innocent until proven guilty, but damn, you look guilty, dog.
What was the show on then? Because it's not on the trial.
No, it's on. It's basically like everything that happened leading up to the trial,
Okay.
like what all the stuff that went on, like the history of the family and the town. Then it talks about the Mallory girl who died in the boat crash. It just like the Paul Murdaugh guy just seems like it's like the dude everybody wanted to beat up. Like, he just the worst. Like, the rich kid who...
That's his
like,
brother?
It's his son. Like, the rich kid who there's no consequences for. Just, again, I just hear him talk, and I'm like, we all know that guy. It's like, godly. Somebody's just an ass whooping away from being fixed.
It just seems like you did it, bud. You know?
Well, you're down there,
I'm not a lawyer,
lying.
but it seems like you did it.
You lied about where you were, then you admitted you were lying about where you were. It's like,
I haven't really been following it, but I did hear the one piece where he said, I lied about when I said I wasn't down there where my son and wife were murdered, but when I was, and I lied about that because I've been addicted to opioids.
right.
I'm thinking, so then couldn't you just lie about...
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Like-
Well, my thing is $60,000 a week on OxyContin. How are you alive? Like, I've known guys that have been messed up in pills, like bad. 60 stacks a week? Like, I mean, dude, how did you not just melt? Like, I don't even know how that worked. It's a crazy situation. He got kicked out of the law firm that his like great-grandfather started, like his family law firm, because he was stealing money. Dude, this man, and he admitted he did this. The housekeeper dies because apparently she tripped over the dogs going down the stairs because, you know, that always happens, dog aside. But the Murdaugh guy who's on trial now said he would sue him, the insurance company, basically sue his insurance company to get damages to help out her kids. Well, he sues them, gets like $500,000 worth of damages, and keeps the money. I mean, this dude is like scum. Like scum. So,
Allegedly, scum.
Allegedly. Nah, but man, it's this dude. I watched a little bit of it, and it's like to me, putting somebody who's like a prominent attorney on the stand, like, man, he's doing such a good job. Well, yeah. It's like me if I moved to Spain in 9th grade and then went to college and majored and studied English. Like, of course. It's like what I do. Like, if they got me on the stand, they were like, Jake, all right, I need you to watch this play. What is this penalty? It's like, oh, it's offsides. Oh my God, he's the greatest ever. He's the greatest ever. I mean, it's offsides. I mean, you can clearly see it. No, it just, this whole trial is wild, man. It's wild. It just seems like you did it. But speaking of did it, Georgia star Jalen Carter has been charged with reckless driving and racing. Alabama basketball clinches the SEC title after Auburn chokes again. Surprise, surprise. And we break down the best landing spots for the top NFL draft prospects. You're going to like that segment. I'm Jake Crain. It's Thirsty Thursday, and welcome to Crain & Company. If you haven't heard yet, yesterday, the Athens Clark County Police issued an arrest warrant for former Georgia defensive lineman and possible #1 overall pick Jalen Carter on reckless driving and racing against the Ford Expedition that crashed, killing Chandler LaCroix and Georgia offensive lineman Devin Willock. Now, Jalen was at the NFL Combine only hours away from speaking to the media when this news came out. Now, I thought on this for a long time last night because it's a terrible situation. And it's a tragic situation that was totally avoidable. Was it a horrible decision by Jalen Carter if he indeed did race that car? Without a doubt. Was it another terrible decision to allegedly lie to police about where he was during the crash? Yes, it was. Should he face some sort of discipline if that is in fact how things went down? I believe so. But the truth is, and it's cold hard truth, that the responsibility lies on the driver of that crashed vehicle, God rest her soul. Now, a toxicology report showed she was over twice the legal limit of alcohol concentration in the blood to be able to drive, and allegedly hit speeds over 100 miles per hour, which resulted in the fatal accident. Jalen Carter should not have his career ruined over this. He shouldn't totally fall off draft boards like Laramie Tunsil, but he also isn't totally clean. But he also isn't the sole blame bearer. He does have to learn a lesson, though. Regardless of how big, fast, or good at football you are, nobody is immortal. It's something he should already know by now. And if these reports are factual, then apparently he still has a lot of growing up to do. The main thing is 2 young people lost their lives over a horrible split-second decision in a situation none of them ever should have been in. Now, God bless all the families involved. It's horrible. And for young people out there, let this be a painful lesson. Life is not a race, nor is it a game. I'm going to go ahead and bring in my co-host, former Michigan quarterback David Cohn, former Western State Colorado wide receiver, my brother as well. Guys, it's an awful situation. I'm not going to sit here and compare this to the Brandon Miller situation like people did on Twitter because it's apples and oranges. That it's a totally different circumstance. Jalen Carter made a couple bad decisions in this.
Yeah.
All right. The Dumas Johnson kid who also plays for Georgia, they said it was a third car. There's no warrant out for his arrest, but he's been ticketed for racing before. So it looks like it may have been 3 cars that were involved in this race, are in racing and being reckless like this. And if there's misdemeanor charges, he should pay the price for that. But ultimately, like I said, Jalen Carter is not to blame for these deaths, in my opinion. There was one person driving that car. One person made the decision to hit that gas pedal down. One person made the decision to race not only a car, but a car that they shouldn't have been driving.
A little more update here. Jail records show that Jalen Carter turned himself in at the Athens-Clarke County Jail last night at 11:33 p.m. and was released shortly after posting bond. The warrants charged Carter with reckless driving and racing, both misdemeanor offenses in Georgia, and it's unclear if he will face any additional charges at this time. What I find interesting here is that this is post his Georgia career, right? So the university really has nothing else to do at this point with Jalen Carter when it comes to any disciplinary action. But it's pre his NFL career. I mean, we're in this tight window here where he's trying to get drafted here in a month, you know? So will there be sort of any discipline from the NFL if he is still like serving any penalty once he's drafted? That's interesting. Usually the precedent for the NFL is anything that has happened to you prior to your entry into the league, you can't be disciplined by the league. Take someone like Joe Mixon, a situation like that happened in college. I think that's probably what'll happen here. I've heard reports that there may be, community service and certain number of hours served, something like 1,000 hours, something like that. I don't know. Could this escalate into like a manslaughter charge, though? I don't know. I don't know what the details are of exactly what he did when he was behind the wheel.
Yeah, again, unless, and again, I'm not a lawyer, but unless they can prove like he swerved or something and caused them a crash, I don't know how this would get above a misdemeanor. But what I would like to see, and it doesn't totally rectify the situation, but if Jalen Carter would use this to maybe go on a speaking tour to high schools and talk to teams, use it to jumpstart something, maybe a foundation or something like that. You can put Devin Willock's name on. I know there's probably already one that started, but use it as a teachable moment to not only athletes, but just the youth in general, just kids in general. Because again, you look at this situation and you look at other situations where high-profile people that are about to make life-changing money, that put in all this work, that may have came from bad backgrounds or good backgrounds, you get close to achieving your goal, and you put it all on the line for something as stupid as racing down a street. Like, it just, to me, if I'm an NFL team and I'm looking at this, obviously the first thing you do is question his decision making. How mature is this guy? Is this guy just a big child? And is he somebody that's going to put the organization in harm's way? Or is he going to use this, as painful as it is, to be a lesson and a springboard into the mature man that he needs to be to not only be an NFL player, but a possible number 1 pick?
Yeah.
I mean, you become the face of an organization, and the timing of it, as we kind of talked about a little bit yesterday when we were talking about setting the show, you talk about 5 hours before you're about to address the media at the NFL Combine. I mean, that's about as tight as it gets.
Well, think about me. Let's go look at his career at Georgia. I mean, has Jalen Carter been in a lot of trouble? I don't think so. No, not as much as other guys. People make mistakes, but I think this is going to affect him at all when it comes to the NFL draft. Not one bit. This will be
Not one bit.
Not one bit. This will be a misdemeanor charge. I don't think it's going to upgrade from that. Whatever he does, community service. So one thing what people I think want Jalen Carter to do is just have some accountability. Just come out, admit it's your fault, admit you're wrong, and you're going to work on being a better person, making better decisions. But if I'm an NFL scout, I'm an NFL GM, you get this, but I like looking at long periods of time of how you acted. And not a lot of problems coming out of Georgia. I think he's a top 5 pick, number 1 if you're the Bears, unless they trade it away. But I do not think, especially with the NFL, with the guys they have still running around on the field, no, this is not. Jalen Carter's not going to slip.
Do you mean your fault is in admitting, like, hey, yeah, I was there or I wasn't away from? Because again, like, it's not Jalen. Jalen Carter didn't kill anybody. Let's go ahead and get this straight. I mean, the person driving the car is responsible for what happens in the car, unless they can prove that somehow Jalen Carter swerved over and they were going to hit all the cars or whatever, which I don't think that's the case. But the part to me that looks the worst on Jalen Carter is not being truthful, allegedly, with authorities when they asked him the first time, were you there? What happened? Instead of being like, listen, we were raped. Because they didn't find any alcohol in his system. Like, I don't believe Jalen Carter was under the influence at all. I don't even know if he drank. Obviously, the other young lady was twice over the legal limit. I don't know about the third car in exactly that situation. But again, comparing this situation to the Brandon Miller situation, I don't think it's even close, and I saw that all over Twitter. I think we got to take it instance by instance.
You were seeing that all over Twitter?
All over Twitter. Be like, oh, well, see, because I basically put out there, hey, look, Jalen Carter, this is a bad look. It's a terrible, tragic situation, but this isn't something that should ruin his career. And people are like, oh, well, you want Brandon Miller's career to be ruined? No, like, first off, no. We said he should have suspended him at the beginning.
These people are just impossible.
Yeah, they're impossible because it's your team. It's your fanatic. No, it's not an excuse.
I don't care.
You're right.
We got to stop with
It's a sickness,
man. It's
to me.
unbelievable. I don't think Jalen Carter will be the number 1 pick anymore, though. I agree with you that I don't think it'll affect his draft status or his NFL career long term. I still think he'll be a number 10 pick. And I really hate it not only for him and for the families involved, but also for some of these organizations who are trying to make a push to draft a top talent like him, because that organization then needs to explain why you're taking this, this kid. I agree with Jake that his maturity moving forward will be the determining factor of what kind of man he becomes and what kind of employee essentially he is for a franchise. But when you say it won't be affected one little bit, I think some organizations are saying, you know what, we could trade this many picks and like move up into the first spot, or we could move back. I don't think Jalen Carter will be the number 1 pick anymore, which he wasn't a lock to be in the first place.
True.
But
if the Bears have the number 1 pick, they're not taking Jalen?
I think now you're in a situation where if you were already on the fence on whether or not you should take Jalen Carter or Will Anderson Jr. because you're going to go the defensive line route, I think this makes your decision a little easier.
Yeah,
top 5 pick?
I think so.
Well, yeah, again, I think the Bears would have been stupid to draft Jalen Carter number 1 overall either way. Because again, and I'm not in that room, if you are like you're saying, David, if you're like, we're good with Jalen Carter or Will Anderson Jr., which that's a great situation to be in, and the Colts want to trade up and get that pick, or the Texans want to trade up and get that pick, or the Seahawks want to trade up and get that pick, you should trade that pick, because you're going to get one of Will Anderson Jr. or Jalen Carter if you trade with the Colts, if you trade with the Seahawks, if you trade with the Texans. The only team you have to worry about is who? The Cardinals, right? That's the only team in front of you. And if they pick Jalen Carter or Will Anderson Jr., all right, that means the other one's left. I just don't know where the Bears have Jalen Carter and Will Anderson Jr. on the board. That's the question to me. I don't think he was going to be the number 1 pick anyway, because I think it'd be stupid for the Bears to not get more equity for that 4th pick, for that 5th pick, when you can basically get the same guy or choose between the 2 guys you like. my biggest thing when it comes down to it is, does that push Will Anderson above Jalen Carter when it comes down to the Bears making that decision? Or the Cardinals making that decision in the top 5 pick? Do they look at this? Do the Cardinals look at this and say, listen, we're already having to deal with some immaturity things with Kyler Murray. The last thing we want to do is go waste another top 5 pick on a guy that we're afraid is going to be immature when you can go get Will Anderson Jr., who is the absolute epitome of maturity, right? Will Anderson Jr. is exactly the type of mature, hardworking, well-balanced employee that's versatile on the field that can do multiple things. But speaking about versatile on the field, you got to be versatile off the field.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, if you don't download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, you're not versatile right now. Your app is just mid and is really a one-trick pony. That's not it. Maybe a hell of a trick, but it's still a one-trick pony. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use our code BOOSTER, BOOSTER, because new customers can place $5 on any pregame moneyline bet and get $150 in bonus bets if your team wins. That's only at DraftKings Sportsbook with our code BOOSTER, BOOSTER. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. We got all access as well today at 11:30. Come check us out. But speaking about DraftKings Sportsbook, use Crain-Pythagorean's theorem again last night. Hit 9 out of 10, 7 out of 8. The only one I didn't hit was Kentucky lost at home to Vanderbilt. So look, when it comes to Crain-Pythagorean theorem, have hit 2 out of 5, which is pretty great when it comes to parlays, over $1,000. So I'm just going to keep
Crain-Pythagorean theorem, baby.
Theorem.
I missed that Kentucky pick too.
Well, you know what? If I'm going to miss one, then that's going to be the one. But make sure you download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Trying to get to 100,000, already hit 50,000. Blaine's hair grew back so quick. But what's going on in the Booster Club there, Blaine?
All right, let's go to Papa John. He usually does that. I'm scared
Delivery
that might
or
not go back one day. As a Dogs fan, he says, I'm a little concerned with the leadership at University of Georgia right now. Stetson gets arrested for public intox. You see this with Jalen Carter.
Well, okay. Well, both those players, are they part of the Georgia program anymore? No. Like, again, I'm not going to blame Kirby. I know it's right after it. I know Georgia's had guys arrested. I just watched LSU get somebody arrested. We all know about the Brandon Miller in Alabama situation. I'm sure something will happen at another school. You know, again, it's when you have this many athletes and this many high-profile people, everything that goes wrong is going to be blasted times 1,000. Now, I'm not saying this in the Jalen Carter situation, but the Stetson Bennett situation. I mean, Stetson Bennett's what, 33 years old? I mean, that man knows better. He's in his 9th year of college. I mean, him and Van Wilder went to school for the same amount of years. Georgia obviously doesn't have a leadership problem when it comes down to being able to do things. It takes a lot of leadership to win. It takes a lot of leadership to win back-to-back championships. I'm not going to blame Kirby for stuff that goes on after his player's tenure at Georgia, just like I'm not going to blame Kirby if Stetson Bennett gets a DUI when he's 45.
I almost think about it the opposite way, Blaine. When did Stetson Bennett and Jalen Carter get in trouble?
That's the thing.
When they were out from under the structure of Kirby Smart in the Georgia football program. That shows you how important that daily discipline is, going in every day to the building and doing your job, doing your work. The moment you become a champion and you're done with your college career, what happens? Then you go out and get in trouble. I remember distinctly, my senior year, we were trying so hard to win a state championship. We had lost the previous 2. And it was like, man, we have to break through and win one of these things. We can't lose 3 in a row. We won the state championship my senior year. And the next day, I remember I woke up and I thought, well, what now?
Yeah.
I literally thought, well, what now? I mean, and I was already going to play football in college. I was already committed to Michigan. But it was like, we don't have practice the next day. We don't have a film session because we've already won it. It's that daily grind and that daily discipline that I think kept those guys from getting in trouble.
But winning the routine, I mean, that's one of the reasons Saban is so great at what he does is, I mean, you create the structure, you create the blueprint, you stay within it, and you fall in love with the process or the grind or the routine or whatever tag you want to give it. That's the key. Because we tell our guys all the time, look, if you can be the same guy on Monday, same guy on Tuesday, same guy on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, guess what? Game time Saturday, you're going to be the same guy. You're going to show up, and you're going to be able to play, and you're going to be able to perform because that's what you've trained yourself to do over and over and over again at a very high level.
All right, let's go to DY's 188 with a $5 donation. Appreciate it. It says, good morning, fellas. Good morning to you,
What up?
sir. Couldn't make the anniversary stream yesterday, but wanted to say congrats on the year. And thank you. Hey, you calm down over there.
Thank you, David.
Coach Iowa. Let me give people a stare down right here. Says, thank you for making sports fun again. DYs, appreciate the donation, man.
DYs, appreciate it,
Let's
buddy.
go to Chris E. with the $5 donation. He says, when top athletes make these poor decisions so close to the draft, does some responsibility fall on their coach, or does that end after they declare for the draft? I know we just talked.
I mean, look, I think it ends after you're under my wing. Like, again, you're no longer my responsibility, right? Like, it's not like your kid. Like, your kid is going to always be your responsibility, even if he's 50 years old, like it or not. I mean, these players, what is Kirby supposed to do? Like, what are you supposed to do? Just keep, all right, you're not playing this. It's not Sunday in the NFL, so I'm just going to keep you here in Athens. Yeah, you play in Cincinnati. Like, you can only control them and put them in the best position and have them learn, so when they do go out to the NFL or they do go out to the real world, they are prepared. I do not blame Kirby Smart for this. I just don't.
Let's go to Ryan Gade with a $10 donation. Appreciate it, Ryan. Says, congrats on the 1 year. Appreciate it. You guys are my favorite podcast to listen to.
Yes.
Can't wait to listen every day on my lunch break. Here's $5 to a mint chocolate chip.
Good. Read it. Read the end of it. Don't stop.
A mint chocolate chip ice cream.
Good.
Disgusting.
I tell you
Thank
what,
you.
Ryan.
Dusting?
Thank you, but no thank you.
No, thank you, Ryan.
Let's go to Papa John. He says, as a Dogs fan, no, I already read that. He says, oh, well, if the NFL care about the draft, that's like Kirby caring about dropping the F-bomb in the locker room.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, we see, and some people are like, oh, this is the SEC. This is the SEC. Okay, well, I watch Michigan State players jump guys in Michigan the tunnel. Like, people get arrested from everywhere. I think I was looking up the Fulmer Cup, which, have you seen that, where they keep track of, like, all the arrests of the universities, like, who leads?
Okay.
Like, and they haven't updated it in, like, 2 years, but I looked back in 2019, I think Bryant University led, like, the nation in, like, arrests.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting point, especially as we start to talk about the NFL on will a franchise still spend a top 5, top 10 pick on Jalen Carter. I still think the answer is yes. I mean, Jake, I agree with you that the kid should not have his career ruined, right? Especially if he, repents, basically. America loves a comeback story, and I'm sure, like, he feels terrible for what happened here. But, will he learn from this and move forward? I think you hit the nail on the head with that situation. And what exactly is a team in the NFL, like, what kind of PR hit are they willing to take when they spend on Jalen Carter? Like, that's my question.
Yeah, and look, if you're a team like the Bears, or if you're a team like the Cardinals, or somebody that may, take a defensive guy in these top rounds, I think a lot of it, and it's hard because if you have this pick, typically you're rebuilding. Maybe your culture in the locker room or in the organization isn't where you want it yet. Maybe you have a brand new coach in there. I think a lot of it depends on what veteran leadership you have left in that locker room, because it's one thing to have somebody in a suit and tie come and tell you something. It's another to have the starting left tackle and the quarterback come up and tell you something in the locker room, in my opinion. I think it carries more weight. Maybe this is an opportunity, if he does go to the Bears, for Justin Fields to stand up in a leadership role and say, hey, man, look, I was a top pick. I know what it's like. I know what this pressure's like. Let me help you out. Let me help show you the best way to handle this. Again, if Jalen Carter is headstrong and just thinks he can just bully right past it and nothing's going to happen and he just doesn't have to worry about it, I think that's a huge mistake.
Yeah.
Like I said, if he embraces the mistake, and you're not going to be able to bring those lives back. That's gone. It's awful. It's tragic. You're not going to be able to bring those lives back. But again, why not start a foundation? Why not get together with a couple other guys to start a foundation that goes and talks to the youth? Hey, you may be a 5-star prospect. Life doesn't care. It doesn't care. We see this happen all the time. We see famous people die that are actors and actresses. We see unbelievable athletes. I mean, look what happened to Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest athletes of our time, gets in a helicopter with a fog warning, ends up losing his life.
I know.
Like, it's.
And for the majority of Americans, you don't, when there's an arrest warrant out for you for reckless driving, you don't get hired at a new job 1 month later. And you certainly don't get hired at a job that pays you millions and millions and millions of dollars, right? That's what's going to happen here with Jalen Carter. And to your point about the universities, still recruiting guys who seem to get in a lot of trouble, there is something to the youth aspect in this, right? Like we've all done dumb stuff when we were kids. There's certain things you can't do and recover from, right? Like there's just certain crimes that you could commit or actions you could commit. There are some that you can overcome and still be a hero within the public if you mature and if you repent for that, which I think is a situation when you were talking about the Brandon Miller thing, that's what has upset a lot of people across the country, is there doesn't seem to be that from the university or from him, in that situation. Whereas let's see where this takes us in the next couple of weeks leading up to the draft with Jalen Carter.
Well, I think we see it in politics too. I think you see it in all walks of life. What's one of the main reasons that everybody's down and morose right now about everything, because nobody takes accountability. Nobody comes up and says, you know what, I should have went to East Palestine, Ohio. Nobody comes out and say, you know what, the economy is bad and it's our fault. We made a bad decision, but damn it, we're gonna rectify it. I promise you, we won't make the same mistake. Can you imagine right now, just in the world we live in, if somebody a leader came out and said, you know what, you're right, we made a mistake. That was a mistake not to shoot that balloon down. We shouldn't let it traverse the United States. We should have shot it down in the beginning. You're right. We take accountability for that. We are going to learn from. Nobody takes accountability anymore. It's all somebody else's fault. It's all some Russian hoax. Just blame some outside foreign entity that you can't prove anything on instead of taking accountability. That's where I think we've fallen the most. One more from the Booster Club, and I'm going to get into this mock draft.
Yeah.
This is going to be
all
fun.
right. Deacon and Nora, hashtag Ask Crain and Company. She says, which overall pick did you have Jalen before this situation, and where would you have him now after?
Well, it's like I just said a second ago. I didn't have him going first overall. I firmly believe that the Colts are going to trade up for that first pick, and they're going to get Bryce Young. I feel like this is a facade. That you're hearing the Colts, we may go up and get Anthony Richardson. The Colts may go up and get Will Levis. Jim Irsay said that about Bryce Young for a reason. Jim Irsay came out and said, man, that Alabama quarterback's pretty good, isn't he? I'm just telling you right now, I think the Colts are going to trade with the Bears, and they're going to go get Bryce Young, because you've heard they may get C.J. Stroud. You've heard they may get Anthony Richardson. Hell, you've heard they may go get Will Levis. So what's the one name you haven't heard may be the one they really want to go get? What's in the pocket? What? Bryce Young no matter what? Now it makes it a whole hell of a lot easier for the Bears to trade that pick, even though I thought they were going to do it in the first place. But I want to get into, let's get into these mocks.
All right, let's do it. And the Cardinals are sitting there at 3, by the way, too. The Cardinals were always a potential landing spot.
Yeah, he's going to be top 5.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think the Cardinals were picking between Will Anderson Jr. and
I think so.
Jalen Carter. But I've said on this show multiple times that I think Will Anderson Jr. is a better prospect because he can do more things. I mean, hell, Will Anderson Jr. could play inside, really, if you wanted to, on third down packages.
I think they'll have.
I think Jalen can do both too.
They'll have the first pick of the defensive players.
Yeah, I mean, you save
2 quarterbacks.
You can save face with either one of those guys. But speaking about saving face, you need to visit genucel.com/booster and get 70% off when you use our code booster at checkout to have this applied to your account. genucel.com/booster. Genucel, guys, it's a skincare company. They're fantastic. Just ask Jessica from Huntsville, Alabama. All right, Rocket City. Says, my skin looks so soft and clear. I've seen a reduced number of fine lines and dark spots. I've found a new lifetime product. Absolutely love it. Reed loves it. We've had it since they became a sponsor of the show. She absolutely loves it. You know me, we get makeup put on every day, but I still don't know anything about it. She does. Apparently, this stuff is absolutely legitimate. And she's had it, I can always tell, because she would talk about different makeups and things like that, and I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, I pretend to understand. But the thing I've learned is it needs to be easy. It needs to be something, obviously, that works. And Genucel does both of those things. They use the same kind of proprietary flower base developed by its founder all those years ago. It works for both men and women. So there you go. Plus, they're safe for all skin types. That was one thing for her, because some makeups apparently make you like break out and stuff. Genucel is apparently one that just, there's no repercussions to the action. Because I don't want to put something on my face and all of a sudden, I look like the Elephant Man.
No, I can't do that.
No, I don't want to be blown up like that.
Look. I want to save face.
Yeah, I want to save face. That's genucel.com/booster to get 70% off. Use code booster at checkout. Genucel, GENUCEL.com/booster. Mock draft, David.
All right. Where are your favorite spots for your top guys? Who are your 3 guys here?
Okay. All right. My 3 guys. Number 1, I'm going to start with Bryce Young.
Okay.
And I know what I just said about the Colts, but we're having fun here. Okay. All right. We're going to have fun here. The Seahawks. Hold on. Decide. Geno Smith? It was an anomaly. We don't believe you had
want
one
Bryce
good
in
year.
Seattle, huh?
We got a good young core. Kenneth Walker, DK Metcalf still got a long way to go. Tyler Lockett keeps getting 1,000-yard seasons. So they make a move to the Bears, trade with the Bears to go from the 5th pick to the 1st pick. And the Seattle Seahawks, Pete Carroll Jr., take Bryce Young, number 1 overall.
Ooh,
That's
wow.
my first. Now one of y'all go. I don't want to give all
Wait,
mine.
you want
Well,
you want
DK,
next?
let me ask you this. If they go to the first, what are they giving up? Just picks?
Huh?
Just picks if you're the Seahawks? Because DK Metcalf ain't going to be walking around on your team if you're going up to the first pick.
No, I think they
Or
find a way.
Kenneth.
I think they find
There's
a
no
way.
way.
Look, this is my crazy thing that could happen during the draft. All right.
Okay.
So I don't need you coming over here just shooting it down.
I'm not
All right,
shooting it down.
speaking
It's
about
in a
balloons.
balloon, all
What's
right?
yours? Yeah, what's yours?
I'm going to go to the 7th.
No chance,
Go to
because
the
here's
7th
why.
pick. I'm going to go Al Davis and the Raiders, choosing Anthony Richardson.
To the 7th
Really?
7th pick.
pick? Really?
Anthony
Really?
Riz you up Richardson.
That's
Riz
high.
Raiders.
That's high.
It's the Raiders. It's got Al Davis written all over it. You have a bowl cut in a draft, I don't trust you. You're going to make a mistake. This is a mistake they're going to make.
Yeah.
They're going to reach for Anthony Richardson. If they're not, the Colts are. If they're not,
You think the Colts are going to get Anthony Richardson?
okay. If Bryce goes,
I mean,
right, and CJ goes, right?
Before 4?
Well, who would have the 4th? The Texans would have 2. Well, it depends on if anybody comes up.
If
and
the Bears
snatches
trade
somebody.
with anyone else.
Yeah, it depends
Okay.
on if they come up. And
Like in Jake's scenario.
Yeah, but I don't know if the Seahawks are going to do it. But give me Anthony Richardson to the Raiders.
You like that, huh?
I like it.
No.
It's a mistake, but I like to see people reach in drafts.
How about Bijan Robinson, one of the best backs we've seen out of Texas, to the Philadelphia Eagles?
That would be
boys, imagine,
dirty.
just imagine this with all the RPO scheme that the Eagles want to run. You got Jalen Hurts still on a rookie deal, okay? You've got AJ Brown locked up. All right, you've got Devontae Smith still on his rookie deal, and you add Bijan Robinson into that mix, into that zone scheme RPO mix. Now the Eagles have 10 and 30, right? Remember they banked some picks from the Saints in the offseason. So is 10 too high to get Bijan Robinson? Possibly. Is 30 too low? They may be kind of caught in the middle where they either have to reach or hope that he's still available. Because right now he's projected. Where's Bijan projected right now?
I think he's projected within that range.
He is within that range, but will he make it to 30 is what a lot of people are asking.
27th right now.
27. So
To the
that's where
Buffalo Bills.
That's where you're sort of, you're
I'd be
playing a risky game. But just imagine Bijan Robinson to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Look, I
don't think he gets
you're
enough
crazy.
credit, man. I really don't think even Will Anderson came out and was like, man, he's the best player I played against all year.
Will Anderson?
Yeah, he's like the best player I played against all year. Like this dude, like he's a full package back.
Yeah.
A legit full package. Supposed to die when he was born. I don't know if y'all read that story, but it was wild. He's supposed to not make it as an infant. Yeah, he was almost died when he was born.
Did
You
not
got to
know
overcome
that.
adversity.
Oh, he's been overcome adversity since he's been born.
He was born in the darkness.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, my second one. God, I'm gonna try and just speak this into reality. With the 41st pick of the NFL draft, the Tennessee Titans make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
They want to keep Hendon Hooker in state. 41st
Really?
overall pick. Hendon Hooker to the Tennessee Titans. No more Ryan Tannehill. You get your average ass on out of here.
Wait, so you think they move on from him? Don't even let Hendon Hooker sit under Ryan
I think
Tannehill?
Hendon Hooker is the guy.
Right away. Even coming off injury. Like, wait, when would
Because you got Malik Willis there, because he doesn't have a ton of experience. I think they go all in on Hendon Hooker. They look at Kenny Pickett, say, no, you're a little bit slow-rolled. Maybe there's a veteran they bring in there at the start to kind of help push him in there. But I think, because I don't think they're going to keep Malik Willis if they end up taking Hendon Hooker. There's going to be some way that they move him somewhere. So give me Hendon Hooker, 41st overall pick to the Tennessee Titans. My third one's going to blow y'all's mind. But
So if Hendon Hooker went to the Titans, Blaine, you can't move Tannehill and Malik Willis, right? Who would you keep?
I mean, you got it. I'd
can't
probably
pay-
keep Tannehill, to be honest.
well, how are you going to pay Tannehill and Hendon Hooker?
Well, what's the cap hit for Tannehill? How much you paying him?
I need to look at it again.
I would have to see what the cap hit is.
I know the GM said, "Oh, well, we're excited about the."
If you don't believe in Malik and you're already drafting another guy, there's no reason to keep Malik. I mean, if the cap hit's not crazy for Ryan Tannehill.
It's 36.6
Okay,
million.
get your bag and get out. Get your bag.
Trash bag like the one.
Yeah, the thing, and now you're going to get to a point where you're playing Hendon Hooker and Malik Willis. I don't know who's the other quarterback that's on the roster. Is it Josh Dobbs?
Josh Dobbs.
It's going to be Josh Dobbs. A bunch of young cats.
Josh wouldn't be bad. He can tell you how to do finite math and all type of stuff.
That's interesting. Yeah.
But it's so it'd be I don't know.
Be a young quarterback
It'd
room.
be a young quarterback room, man.
Young for sure.
And you just lost your tackle, so I know it's a good thing you can turn around and hand it to Derrick Henry, though. That always works.
Who's your
mine's going to be 12, Quentin Johnson from TCU to the Texans. I think the Texans really want to replace that DeAndre Hopkins vibe. And you're looking at a guy right here who's more of a big body than DeAndre Hopkins. Obviously not as good as a route runner and not as good as hands, but he might get there one day. 6'4", 215. You watch a kid in the playoffs. He's a legitimate NFL receiver. I feel like this will be a good fit for the Texans. You're going to go get a what? Go get a quarterback. And what does a quarterback need to make it in the NFL? A true number one receiver, and Quentin Johnson can be that guy.
I like that. You think he'll be the first wideout taken?
I do.
Off the board?
I do.
I think you might be right, man. Big body, true X.
True 6'4", man, and can run.
Like a Mike Evans type.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, big hands. You got dreads. That's automatically +3 catching.
Yeah, like having a mustache when you pitch.
Yeah.
Like your slider's automatically +1 better.
All right, talking about big bodies who can catch the football, why don't we go to the tight end position? Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame, projected between 20 and 30 right now. How about the Jacksonville Jaguars
Love that.
at pick 24?
God, that just makes sense.
Just think about Doug Peterson calling plays. You got Trevor Lawrence starting to figure it out. A lot of pieces on the outside with Zay Jones. You got Calvin Ridley who's coming over. Right?
Evan Ingram. Are you pairing him with Evan Ingram? Is that year one too? Evan had a nice year.
Yes, pair him with Evan Ingram.
As y'all know now, I'm a Jaguars fan.
I do know that.
Yeah, thank you.
I do know that. Imagine having those two tight ends running around at the same time that Trevor Lawrence is starting to figure it out. Doug Peterson calling plays. ETN in the backfield looks like he's healthy, ready to. Now, I know that, Jacksonville, you're trying to get better on the defensive side of the ball, especially you have Calvin Ridley already coming over who's going to be an additional weapon. But imagine just giving another big body weapon to Trevor Lawrence, because look who you're having to face every time you get to the postseason, right? You're having to run into Travis Kelce and the Chiefs, all right? Give Trevor Lawrence that sort of big body type.
Think he makes it that late in the draft, though?
Maybe not. Right now, he's projected the 21st overall prospect, and the
I saw a lot of people have him at 15.
As high as
the
15?
Packers.
Yeah, well, the Packers are another interesting team that I thought about putting him at, and a third team, the Lions.
Yeah,
the Lions. Hey, you just traded away Hawkinson, right, to a divisional rival in the Vikings. Imagine giving Jared Goff a tight end like Michael Mayer.
Yeah.
Now, I know they're trying to get better on the defensive side of the football, but you could load up in the rest of the draft.
He's a plug and
still
play
take
day one.
Plug and
play day.
Y'all ready for me to break the draft?
Break it.
All right. Trade alert. Big trade alert. The Falcons are trading the 8th overall pick to the Baltimore Ravens for Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, who are going to sign Derek Carr to be their quarterback, are going to pick Quentin Johnston with their first pick to give him a weapon outside for Derek Carr to go Rashad Bateman, Quentin Johnston, Devin Duvernay. They need that big piece. They need that big playmaker outside. The Ravens trade with the Falcons to move up, give him Lamar Jackson plus a couple late-round picks, maybe a veteran player somewhere around there, and the Ravens go to war with Derek Carr, Lamar Jackson to the ATL to become an Atlanta Falcon with Kyle Pitts and some of the guys they have. By the way, something to add on to your Jaguars. Calvin Ridley coming back for our Jaguars.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was making sure my mouth was right.
What do you think about that?
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. You're going to have to give up a lot if you're the Falcons. A lot. Well, we're arguing whether this guy needs $250 million guaranteed. He's going to be needing more in the 8th. He's going to need your entire roster and someone else's roster.
Has he had a hot dog from the varsity yet?
I don't know.
That may knock 15 mil off.
Hold on, let me write mid.
You get a glizzy every day.
Varsity's media.
It really is mid. It really is.
But I don't know. God, if you're the Falcons, I just don't know why. You're going to be back in dead cap space, so you just got out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, I mean, you got you
don't believe in Desmond Ritter?
No, I don't.
The Cincinnati boy?
No, I don't believe in
Well,
Desmond
kick your heels
Ritter.
together a couple times.
Yeah,
never know.
I don't believe in Desmond Ritter.
You never know.
I wipe my eyes and see a less athletic Marcus Mariota. That's what I see.
Marcus had some good years.
At Oregon, yeah.
Yeah, not in the pros.
He had a good year for the Titans, didn't he? Like one?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
All right.
You're
Can we not do Marcus Mariota
Yeah,
dirty
I
on
like
here
Marcus
today,
Mariota.
guys?
He's a really
Great
good
guy.
A stand-up guy.
Oh, I heard Marcus Mariota coming out. He runs 4.4. Marcus Mariota's going to transform the game. What?
Yeah, this one might be a little bit boring for the people out there, but as a receiver, I get excited about this. Little underrated guy, doesn't get talked a lot about the receivers. Zay Flowers from Boston College.
He is
All right,
nice.
14th pick. Why don't you go over there to New England and help old Mac Attack out?
At 14.
At 14. At 14. Yeah, a little bit of a reach, but I feel like this is one of those guys, first off, phenomenal route runner, over 1,000 yards. I think he had like 800 the year before. Over 1,000 yards this year for Boston College, who were terrible at football, right? So you're doing that. You're doing a lot. He was their go-to guy. You can't touch him in a phone booth. He's good deep. He's one of those guys, kind of reminds me of Rondell Moore a little bit.
Yeah,
It reminds me of Rondell Moore a little bit. I feel like you can put him in right now for the Pats. You can move him around. You can go to outside to inside. Hell, you could probably put him in tailback if you want.
Yeah, I get Jahan Dotson vibes from him.
Yeah, right. So I feel like 14 might be a little bit of a reach, but that's fine. If you really think you got your guy, go get him. Zay Flowers, Boston College native to New England Pats, baby.
Okay. I'm going to finish up with a wide receiver, too. Jackson Smith and Jigba. Banged up for most of the year with the Buckeyes. This guy, though, is an elite playmaker, and it is never a bad move to take a wideout from Ohio. We can agree on that, right? So where should he go? Right now, projected anywhere from 16 to 28, something like that. Well, who's sitting right there at pick 27, the Buffalo Bills? Now, you say, but the Buffalo Bills, they need to get better on defense. That needs a priority. Focus on that the rest of the draft. Go get all the best defensive players you can. Take Jackson Smith and Jigba. Give Josh Allen another weapon opposite Stephon Diggs. Just like in your divisional rival, the Miami Dolphins, have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Go get Jackson Smith and Jigba. We know Josh Allen is at his best when he is pushing the pill down the field. Give him another elite wide receiver.
I like that.
One pick before that, you know who has the Cowboys?
I'm seeing Jalen Hyatt from Tennessee to the Cowboys.
How do we feel about Jalen Hurts?
I feel like Jordan Addison's not getting talked enough.
Yeah, that's true, too.
He's like
Jordan Addison's
he's projected
higher.
late first round.
No, I'm seeing him.
Well, I mean,
I'm seeing Jordan Addison go right after Quentin
if
Johnson.
If you put Smith and Jigba with Diggs, Dawson Knox, James Cook, I mean,
Nothing about that with the Cowboys. CD, Dalton Schultz,
well, there's only one problem.
Pollard.
Dak Prescott's still the quarterback.
This is true. But
Okay.
still, I mean, you put enough weapons around him, sooner or later, he's got to do something.
See, I'm seeing some Jordan Addison to the Packers.
I'm seeing a lot. I've seen that and Jordan Addison to the Chargers.
That'd be a good
But
pick, too. They said they're not moving on
Jordan
from
Love
Keenan
to
Allen.
Jordan Addison.
Keenan's not going anywhere. He's just not going to play till week 7.
Two Jordans and a Christian sounds like part of the Bible.
There you go. Wait, Keenan Allen's not playing until week 7?
Well, like usual, yeah.
Yeah. He's going to have that hamstring injury that lasts the whole
Practice, man. Oh,
God, Miami. All right, what we got, Booster Club?
Gasfield Gorilla with a $20 donation. Appreciate it. It
the
says,
Gasfield.
my son and I watch y'all together when possible. Man, it's awesome. Watching your show has really helped pique his interest in sports, and I
Yes.
could not be happier. You guys are influencing our youth in a positive way. We love you in this house. Well, Gasfield Gorilla, we love you in this house.
We love you guys. Appreciate it.
And that's what it's about. Sister Riggs, remember Tannehill isn't interested in mentoring any young QBs. You don't want that vibe in your locker room.
And I'm not interested in Tannehill. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not interested in Tannehill. How about that? How about you flip that and reverse it? Sister Riggs, you're right.
Connie Ron says Crain needs to be hired as an NFL GM. I think so, too.
I think we should. I think we should start our own team.
Look, if the Jets hire me, we'll win one of the next Super Bowl in the next 3 years.
Are you guaranteeing it?
You're
I am. I'm
that?
guaranteeing it right now.
What's your
Joe
first
Namath
move?
style?
Lamar Jackson, come on down.
You go to the. You're just gonna go. What are you gonna give up?
Huh?
No,
What do you give-
we're already having disagreements.
Well, I'm giving. No.
That's GM.
What am I giving up? Some picks.
Why do we not go get Aaron and not?
Probably Jermaine Johnson.
You think that they're gonna just be like,
and
okay,
another
cool.
guy? Yeah. I mean,
Oh,
some
just open the
picks.
door.
What do you mean you're
a
giving
three-teamer.
up?
We'll
Who do we have to
three-team it.
give up? We're a new franchise. We're an expansion franchise.
Okay.
I thought we were the
Get some
Jets.
replacement
I thought we were the
players.
Jets.
I thought we were the Jets.
Oh, my
Oh.
Keanu Reeves.
I thought we were starting a new franchise.
I'm cool with that.
we could.
I
We
mean,
could. Let
look,
us have the first pick.
I'm not against that.
Give us the first 5 picks in the draft. We'll do it. What would the name of our expansion team be? Would it be the Nashville Steamed Wieners?
Probably not.
Or the Glizzies?
Probably not.
Where do we go? We got to go somewhere with a G.
I don't like rushing these things.
The Georgia Glizzies. That'd be great.
Are we at a? I mean, yeah, I guess.
Blaine really loves the name Gunter. So
Look, only thing don't get me. You can't trust anybody named Gunter.
I've never met anybody.
Exactly.
Where did you meet somebody?
I don't know how this got brought up.
it was on the Drive to Survive.
The Drive to Survive.
And on Sing
Some guy
2,
was
the
named
pig on
Gunter. I was
Sing
like,
You haven't
no.
watching that European propaganda?
No, man. Like, there's a game called Enlisted, and one of the guys who like fights for the Nazis is named Gunter. I was like,
Really?
I can't trust you, man.
Yeah, well, look, I've never met anybody named Gunter, but if I do now, I'll be super skeptical.
You should. Skeptical Hippo about it.
I did watch a little bit of that F1 yesterday.
Yeah.
A little bit of it. Piqued my interest a little bit.
Oh, he's hooked.
Yeah.
He's just not.
I just don't want to watch it. I just don't want to watch Italians talk down to me. I'm
He's
sorry.
hooked.
Well, no, I mean, look, they start talking down to me, we're going to have problems.
Well, I mean, have you watched the first episode of season 5 or whatever it is?
No, not season 5 yet. I'm not
Yeah,
that
they're
deep.
just drinking wine and talking down to people. That's all
No,
they're
they're
doing.
not.
God, that sounds pretty sweet. Speaking about drinking wine and talking down to people, really excited to get Rusty Mansell. No, I'm just kidding. Rusty Mansell joins us. Rusty, appreciate you taking some time, my friend. I know it's been a while since we've talked, and I hate to bring you on in a kind of a, this bad situation with Jalen Carter, but first off, how are you doing?
Good, man. Congratulations, you guys, for a year. I know you guys, if I always look at that picture you tweet out, Jake, of how you guys started out, and I'm excited to be on here, proud of you, and I walk into Steam Wieners comments. I'm not sure how we're going this morning, man,
Well,
Jake?
look, there's nothing wrong. Like, Blaine is a connoisseur of steamed wieners. I'll let him tell you. Nobody likes a steamed wiener to the face more than my brother.
All right? I'm not a steamed wiener connoisseur. I'm a steamed glizzy.
Oh,
Okay,
man.
There's a
me.
difference.
Excuse me.
Tomato guy.
But Rusty Mansell, 247 Sports Dog, 247 CBS Sportsnet, and Skynet, and anywhere where you find the media that he's going to be there. But Rusty, I opened with this Jalen Carter situation. And I first want to start just your thoughts. I'm guessing you probably didn't hear my monologue on it, my open on it. I don't think the kid's life should be ruined. I think he made a couple mistakes, but I feel like the responsibility is on the person who was driving that car, God rest her soul. But Jalen Carter, I think he did the right thing by turning himself in, admitting, hey, I was wrong. Just your thoughts on the situation in general.
There's so many different layers to this, Jake. Who's ultimately, and I agree, I'm a girl dad, have 4 daughters, and have a young, my oldest daughter now is entering the media world, and often talk to her and often talk to them about decisions you make and how it can change your life and change other people's life. And a decision was made by that young lady to get in a vehicle, and just terrible decisions. That entire deal is a tragedy, bar none. And ultimately she got behind the wheel twice the legal limit, and people are dead. So that's facts. And with Jalen Carter, there's 2 different layers to look at this. You look at Jalen Carter as a pro football prospect. He is an elite defensive tackle. He is the defensive tackle in this draft. Now, the NFL looks at things different here, and they are going to deep dive into this, because a team is going to either draft him and invest millions into him, or they're going to pass on him. So there's so many different layers to this. Now, when you look at what we know as of this morning, he turned himself in late last night. He got out 16 minutes later, $4,000 bond. He has 2 misdemeanors, which are $1,000 a piece, and you're probably looking at between 10 and 15 hours of community service. So if nothing else comes of this, if there's nothing else that's, comes out on the end of Jalen Carter's name with this situation, it's not going to affect him much in the draft, because what they're going to do, and I talked to one of my very close friends last night who played 11 years in NFL, and he said, Rusty, let me tell you something. These guys are going to draft him, and all they're going to do is have somebody around him 24/7. He goes, we had a player. I will not tell you his name. He didn't tell me. He goes, he was all pro. And he goes, I'm telling you right now, they would rotate people undercover and go downtown with him. And many a nights they had to take him by the shirt and say, it's time to go home. So I don't know Jalen Carter personally. I covered him a little bit. I did know that, he only played 2 years of high school, moving from tight end over defensive end. He has some stuff to him, and he certainly showed that. But if you want to talk about the football side, if nothing else comes of this, this guy's going to be a top 5 pick.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, when it comes down to ability to impact a football game and just all the things you look at to be an effective player, especially at that position, Jalen Carter checks all the boxes. Something else, and I think David brought up a really good point, which I'm going to get to in a second. But when some people have talked about, oh, well, Georgia has a leadership problem. Well, David, I think, brought up a fantastic point saying, well, it seems to be the opposite. Seems like none of these guys get in trouble until they're out from under that Kirby Smart wing. You look at the Stetson Bennett situation. You look at the Jalen Carter one. Once you get out of that routine, that seems to be where the trouble lies. I don't think you can blame Kirby Smart for what happens after people have left the shelter that he's provided, because most of the time they use that routine to help them later in life.
I've talked to a lot of people. NFL people call to do background checks. They don't call, ask me, hey, can Trayvon Walker, is he a good player? They'll call and ask to do background checks on high schools and stuff like that. Kids I've covered, not just kids at Georgia, kids from the state of Georgia. I covered it in high school. So they do background checks, and that shows you a little bit of the NFL. So I know that Georgia's not the only team that does this. They have leadership council. They have 7 or 8 chosen elected players from the team, and they meet with players. They meet with Kirby. They meet with people that's maybe, behind a little bit in schoolwork, those types of things. I know that Georgia specifically brought in a person to talk with them, I think in November. I asked some questions last night, some people in that building. They had a person come in from the NFL and talk about, and they showed some graphic wrecks. This is what happened when people were on motorcycles at 130 miles an hour. This is what happened when people got behind the wheels of alcohol. So Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, Auburn, Kennesaw State, every single level you can think of, they go through this continual. They bring in speakers. At the end of the day, Jake, and we've all been there, every single one of us on this, you're 21, you're 22, you're 23, you're 18 years old, and you think it's never going to happen to me.
Yep.
And in that particular night, 2 young people are dead and lives are changed forever because of a decision. And, the only thing that you can hope comes good of this at the end of the day is that everyone around the country uses this as a lesson. Listen, this team just won the national championship. They were out celebrating. And the next morning, 2 people will never be on this earth ever again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And, I go back and think, all the times when I was younger, man, when I made that bad decision, what could have happened? And a lot of us look back and say, man, we really got away with one, but everybody doesn't get away with it. And that's what we see in this situation.
In a high-level college football.
I lost a teammate, a guy that I played high school with. I played on a state championship team, and this was the baddest dude on the team. And he didn't touch alcohol, not once. But he had a thing for motorcycles. He had a thing for crotch rockets. And probably 10 or 12 years after high school, he's going down I-75 in Cartersville, Georgia, and he pulls out in front of somebody, and he's no longer with us. So I know firsthand decisions that can be made. Start talking about high rates of speed and those types of things. And one of my very close friends growing up is no longer with us.
Yeah, my kids won't be on one. I can promise you that.
I mean, you see it all the time. And high-level college football is so demanding. Every second of your time is accounted for. This is 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. That when you get out from under that structure and you accomplish what you've set out and worked so hard for, winning a championship, that's where guys tend to unwind, and that's when you find yourself getting in trouble. We say, Coach Carr told us at Michigan, nothing good happens at after 12 p.m. I'm moving it up for my kids. Nothing good happens after 10 p.m., so be inside. But Rusty, I want to talk to you about some of these other guys. Georgia, the first round is going to be littered again with Georgia Bulldogs. We got Keely Ringo, Broderick Jones, possibly Nolan Smith. Even in the later rounds, you're talking about Stetson Bennett's going to get a shot to play quarterback in the NFL. What are your thoughts on all these guys? What are some of your favorite landing spots for them?
I'll tell you this. Last year, I think Jordan Davis kind of stole the show, if you want to say that, as a big man. And people are like, wait a minute, those guys move like that. You want to watch Broderick Jones. The guy played left tackle for University of Georgia. Really only started a year and a half because he played behind Jamari Salyer, who, by the way, started 14 games for the Chargers this year as a rookie. So when you look at Broderick Jones, I went back and watched some video. I went and watched him play basketball his junior year at Lithonia High School. He's going to be 6'5", 310 pounds, and his 3-cone. And, I can't wait for the combine to start when I start talking about 3-cone. His change of direction, his ability to bend, his reach. And from what I'm hearing he's going to run the 4.85 range this weekend. So if he does that, I see a lot of projections to the Jets around 11. Darnell Washington. I talked to somebody real close to him that trains him. He's going to check in around at 6'7.5", 272. Now, I'm not saying he's going to, but he has in the past couple of weeks. He's been in that 4'6'2", 4'6'5", 4'6'5" range. Now we're talking about 272 pounds.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
So if Darnell does that, and the ability, you guys know this, the ability to attach yourself to the end of the line of scrimmage with an extra tackle who, oh, by the way, can hurt your ass in the red zone.
Yeah.
Those are invaluable. There's only one of him. There's only one of him you're going to trot out this weekend that looks like that. Hadn't been one in a while. A lot of comparisons to Mercedes Lewis back in the early 2000s, size-wise. So if Darnell Washington goes sub 4.65, he can make a lot of money this week. I still think he's a second rounder, but he can push himself up in there. Stetson Bennett, here's what's going to be the question. There are obviously going to be questions about, hey, you got arrested. What's the deal here? Those types of things. The guy's 25 years old. So that's going for an NFL team to draft him. They're going to know they've already lost maybe 4 years off of his time clock. He's not going to be the biggest dude up there. If you want to talk about tape, you want to talk about the ability to run a pro-style offense under Todd Monken. You know what's interesting about all this? Teams aren't going to be able to reach out to Todd Monken because he has nothing to gain anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's telling the Ravens, like anybody in the Ravens got a question to answer.
Yeah, hey, man, don't draft that guy. He's terrible. We barely hung on, So I kind of thought that about yesterday, So Kirby Smart is in Indianapolis. He will be there, I guess, till tomorrow, interviewing, for teams and his guys and those types of things. So I guess he'll be the one who gets the questions. But I think Keely Ringo is the guy that's he's going to be that freak. I was doing some stuff on him last night. I don't know if you guys know this. He ran 10.400 as a freshman in high school. This guy's going to be 200 and 205 pounds, and he's probably going to run 4.35. And, the thing about Keely Ringo is ball skills. Can he play that in the NFL? But here's another thing. There's only so many of those in his frame. And can he just mirror a guy? NFL is a little different. You're just going to put you over there, and this is your dude now. So you've got him. So it's going to be interesting how. But you want to talk about workout, standing broad jump, vert, everything. Keely Ringo's going to check some boxes.
I tell you, when I watch Ringo play, he looks like a nickel to me. Like his physicality, I like him as a down safety nickel, man, because his hips aren't fantastic. Like that's the one thing I saw. The straight line speed, he is cash money going. The hips, almost built more a little bit like a safety than a corner. Speaking about Darnell Washington, though, if that man runs 4.6, forget the NFL. They're sending his ass over to Ukraine, dog.
I love that tweet you had.
Yeah, yesterday. Like you think the NFL?
Can you imagine being 6'7", 270, running 4.6, and you're not the best tight end on your team?
See, that's
tells you a lot.
Come on, man.
Yeah, you got
What else do I got to do?
From Napa.
What else do I got to do? I'm a giant and catch block, and I'm fast.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now. If all four of us are sitting in that studio right now, and we don't know these two guys, and Darnell Washington and Brock Bowers walks in, you guys get to pick one for your team. We're 4-0 going for
Look,
you know what I mean? Not this 6'3" kid from Napa. I can promise you that.
Yeah, look, if I need to find a great bottle of wine, I'll ask you, brother. But I'll take that thing that just walked through the door.
No
What you got,
Rusty? I want to get your opinion on this. Do you think Will Levis is a top 10 pick?
Man, the hardest position, and I said this on the radio yesterday, the hardest position to evaluate in high school, college, and pro to me is quarterback. And there's been thousands of hours, man hours, that went into the New York Jets drafting Zach Wilson. And there's going to be so many hours into Will Levis. Here's the one thing that scares me a little bit. I know he didn't have the best talent, but I never watched a game and going, damn, Will Levis is taking this thing over. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't see it to be a top 10 pick. Now, look, man, that position and how crucial it is, and you got to take chances. You got to hit on one. The Falcons, I'm a Falcons fan, and we're sitting here hoping that Ritter's the guy. I mean, you're just hoping he is. And for right now, but I just
Rusty, you didn't hear my mock draft upset surprise in the first round. The Ravens The Ravens
There you go.
or the Falcons have traded the 8th pick overall to the Ravens for Lamar Jackson. Like what?
Well,
there you go.
I would love it, man. This city needs that. This team has so much money. They got some young skill players. There's only a window around this. There's only some. I look at Trevor Lawrence in Jacksonville, and their window, man, is here. Like they've turned the corner. They've got some money. They got some draft picks. They got him under that rookie contract. So, for Falcons, it would be great if Ritter is, but if we get Lamar Jackson, bring him on. Let's go.
Well,
it's going to speed up things.
Let me ask you this then, since we're on Lamar Jackson, because we led with this and talked about it yesterday. Let's say the Ravens put the non-exclusive franchise tag on Lamar Jackson, and the Falcons go up there with a $250 million offer, all guaranteed, which is what he's wanting, and then you have to send your 2 first-round picks to Baltimore for that. Baltimore decides not to match, and then you get a guy who has been injured the past 2 seasons and hasn't thrown for 3,000 yards or 30 touchdowns since his MVP season. You feel comfortable with that?
They're rolling the dice. They're going all in, and I think the window is now for the Falcons. So, that's a lot right there. That $250 million guaranteed and 2 first rounders. If it's going to take that, I don't know, because there is that injury factor. The problem, Lamar Jackson, not in a bad way, but running is so much a part of his game. And you're going to take shots, man. You're going to take shots. And he's also, he can throw the ball. So he's got that to him. But that's a lot for me. I don't get paid. That's way out of my pay grade to make that decision.
He'd be in a different system than he was in the
Well, it's funny. We have Arthur Blank on the other line here, Rusty. He's really asking what they should do. So choose your next words wisely.
Tell you what, the Falcons are sitting here with so much money. And the damn most Falconist thing of all time. It's not the greatest free agency class.
Of course.
We finally get to go to the all-inclusive trip, and we don't go on the best week. It's basically
It's like, hey man, y'all want to hit this Tannehill or something like this? You want to get this little Derek Carr?
All-inclusive, and it rains all week.
That's exactly right. Look, you can get Derek Carr to come up there and cry for you. He'll love that.
We'll cry together.
Rusty Mansell, 247 Sports Dogs, 247. It's always great catching up with you, brother.
Man, appreciate y'all. Again, congratulations. I know y'all are doing a hell of a job. I'm going to be up in Nashville a couple of weeks. I'm going to swing by SEC Media Days. We just booked a couple of things, so it's going to be in Nashville. So looking forward to Jake taking me out to eat, man, and getting a big boy.
That's exactly right, man. You need a place to stay. Just come stay with me too, man. We got guest rooms. I appreciate it, my friend.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Rusty Mansell, one of the best in the business. Always love getting Rusty on. Before we get to Thursday trivia, what do we got going on in the club?
All right, let's go to Steve Action Figures Frenzy with the $10 donation. He says, sorry to change the subject. That's okay. All right, but I haven't been here on the live show for a while and have a comment about the Cincinnati Reds opening day. Ooh. Is it the best experience in MLB until the umpire yells play ball?
Well, you have hope, right? Is that what we're talking about? The hope. Everybody's even, right? Everybody's even.
Yep.
Before that first pitch comes. So, again, are the Reds going to do anything this year? I'm your buddy.
Is Joey Votto still on the Reds?
I'm your friend. Yeah, I believe so.
I like Joey Votto.
But I don't see the Reds being able to do anything. I mean, you look at their division. You got the Cubs, who you're not scared, to death about. The Cardinals have been a mainstay. The Pirates seem like they always have talent but never do anything with it. And then we know the Brew Crew, been decently consistent. I like the arms they have right now. So you're not in the hardest division. But again, when you look at the Reds roster, I mean, I'm not really super jacked and excited about what Cincinnati's got going on right now. I don't think I'm crazy to say that either. But yeah, you have hope right now. You got a ton of hope. Keep having it. All right? Join the Hopi Indians. I don't know.
Hope Solo right now.
You could be Hope Solo right now. But once that first pitch gets thrown, you guys are probably finishing 4th in the division.
Let's go to Maximum Vol. Turn it up to the maximum volunteer.
Wow. I don't want halfway ball. I want max.
No, it's max. We're max.
Okay, good.
We're PRing right now. No. Outside of the injury, what are you foremost worried about when it comes to Hendon Hooker, Dave?
the injury to me is first and foremost. The second thing would be the system that he played in college. Did that dictate a lot of his success? It's sort of what you and I have been talking about a little bit with Matt Corral. Like, what exactly? It's a very similar situation. Matt Corral got hurt in that bowl game before he was drafted by the Panthers. But then even before that, he's playing in a Lane Kiffin system. Did that dictate a lot of his high completion percentage? Did that, can he actually deliver in the NFL for these different teams? I'm looking at the same thing when it comes to Hendon Hooker. But to me, on both of the guys, the answer is yes. I mean, they're playing. I think that for Lane Kiffin especially, he's been an NFL head coach. Forget offensive coordinator, NFL head coach. So he's gotten that guy ready in Matt Corral, and I think the same is true for Hendon Hooker.
Yeah, when I look at systems, and because that's the second thing people are going to look at, we live in a day and age now where the ACL, which is the Tommy John of the knee, I mean, it's not nearly the injury that it was years ago where it can ruin your career. You can bounce back really quickly. I think it took Adrian Peterson like 2 weeks to come back from an ACL injury one time. But when people talk about, Hendon Hooker in the system, we need to understand that Tennessee, what makes Tennessee's different system is the pace. It's not the air raid, okay? They're not going out there. They're running pro-style concepts on offense. And you know what? I like a guy that's used to having to make decisions quickly. Like, that's not a bad thing. It's not like he's going to run the triple option or he just like a Taysom Hill type at quarterback. You're running a system that has normal 1 high, 2 high. What are we reading? Is it combo? Are we half field reading? You're running pro-style concepts with a run game. So it's not air raid. It's not triple option. All you're doing is operating at a warp speed. I feel like that trains you even better going into the NFL. I would much rather you having to make decisions at a fast rate than used to making them at a really slow rate, and now I got to speed you up. So I think people, when you look at the Tennessee system or the Josh Heupel system, need to understand it's the pace, not the concept, that makes guys worry about, it's like we see like Colt Brennan, these guys that came out of these air raid
like
systems.
Hawaii,
like throwing it 800
Texas
times.
Tech, yeah.
And everybody's like,
RIP.
oh no, this isn't, it's the system didn't work. Tennessee does not do that. They just go really fast.
I don't disagree. The spacing is a little bit different too. I mean,
the splits
how
are a little
often did you
different.
see stack formation, wide receivers to the boundaries? He's going to have to do a lot more like bunch formation with mesh concepts. I think, when you look at like what Patrick Mahomes and some.
Well, that's where, and too, that the hashes are different.
The hashes are a big thing when it comes to that spacing.
Yeah, there's a big jump.
But I don't think that's anything Hendon Hooker can excel at.
I just want to know what that knee's looking like.
Yeah.
How we feeling about it?
Here's the thing about Hendon. Hendon's not going to run because they want him to or they need him to. He will run when he has to. The thing about Hendon Hooker is he's good enough when he runs to be able to make plays with his legs. But he is a true passer first, runner second. He just happens to be athletic. That's why I'm not as worried about the knee injury as I am about a Kyler Murray or somebody like that, where they depend on their legs for things to work. I think Hendon is more of an in-pocket guy.
And the last thing, the biggest factor if Hendon Hooker will be successful in the NFL is the growth that he shows from this point forward.
Yeah.
Right? If Hendon Hooker is the best quarterback that he's ever going to be right now today, he's not going to play long in the NFL. Right? You have to continue to get better and grow at the next level. If you watch what Tom Brady looked like at his combine and his pro day coming into the NFL, I mean, it was you just laugh at it, right?
Yeah.
But he continued to improve every single year in a lot of different ways, taking care of your body, watching your diet, working on your technique, your fundamentals. Will Hendon Hooker do all that? That's what I'm interested in.
I think so. I think that's the last thing you got to worry about with Hendon Hooker. Met him at the Senior Bowl. I don't think the dude's ever made a mistake.
Seems like consummate professional, yeah.
All right, let's go to Gopher_golfer. It says, congrats on your anniversary, guys. Appreciate it. I came to Daily Wire for Ben Shapiro, but I stayed for Crain and Company.
God.
What do you guys think of Kevin Durant's debut for the Suns?
Look, Kevin Durant's really good at basketball. I'm not worried about Kevin Durant right now when it's going pretty good. I worry about Kevin Durant when you lose a couple games in a playoff series. Because Kevin Durant has a bad habit. He's a front runner. Let's call Kevin Durant what he is. He's a front runner. When it's going good, man, he loves the city. He loves his team. The new organization really understand. They get him. Next chapter, final chapter. But it's when it starts going bad or that first sign of adversity. Kevin Durant is Billy Zane from the Titanic. Forget about the women and children. When the ship starts going down, his ass the first one running to the lifeboat, and he's going to make sure he gets in there. That's why I think Kevin Durant will not ever win another NBA championship outside of the ones he won at Golden State, because Golden State's culture is so good when it comes down to winning. They were able to absorb him and ended up spitting him out. All right, let's not. Draymond Green and you beefed. We all remember that. Everywhere you've been, there's been a problem. That's why I call you Hurricane Durant. You're Billy Zane from the Titanic. The minute the sun starts screwing up, or it doesn't start going good, or it's not all rainbows and flowers and Skittles and all that stuff, Kevin Durant will be the first one to call people out. He'll be the first one to blame everybody else, and he'll be the first one that ends up tearing the organization down from within. He's a cancer, and he's a front runner. I'm just telling you, I don't trust this guy.
Wow.
I don't trust him.
I wish I could interject and disagree.
I know.
I can't.
How dare you, sir?
How do you lose in the second round with Kevin Durant in Texas and Rick Barnes? That's when I made my mind up about Kevin Durant. You really?
Wow, that's an old beef.
Yeah, if you really want to know.
You had Texas in the Final Four, didn't you?
Man, look, I probably
beef here.
did, but Kevin Durant in college, y'all can't get past the second round at Texas? Ew, gross, puke.
Let's go to Brock Lawley. What's up, Brock? Hashtag Ask Crain. That's us. Which is more unreliable, Wendell Green's last-second shots or McDonald's ice cream machines?
All right, can we say this about the
Wendell Green played good, didn't he?
bro, here's my thing. Look, I don't want to hear excuses about the refs. All I've heard all year from Auburn fans excuses about the refs. You know, eventually, and y'all know me, I dislike the refs as much as anybody. Yeah, if you've ever watched the show, you know that. But guess what the common denominator is? You choke. This team is a bunch of choke artists. Every big game they choke. How many leads has this Auburn basketball team blown? All of them. You're up 17 and give up a 16-0 run on the road against Bama. You miss 11 free throws. That's on you. Auburn lost the game. The refs were horrible at the end, but you gave them a chance. You gave the referees a chance. And how many times are y'all going to let Wendell Green take a game-winning shot? He hasn't made one of them. He made one fluke-ass layup against Georgia last year at the end of the game where he closed his eyes and it went in. Outside of that, him and KD Johnson panic every time in the last minutes. Auburn played as good as they possibly could have played yesterday. Shot as good as they possibly could have shot. But when you have a team full of guys that only know how to lose in clutch moments, they only know how to lose. The difference between the Alabama personnel and the Auburn personnel is the Alabama personnel knows how to win when it matters. The Auburn personnel only knows how to lose, and they only make excuses. Bruce Pearl's a hell of a coach. You could probably credit Bruce Pearl for that arena looking like it did last night for Alabama because he got him to take basketball serious. But this Auburn team, I will tell you, is full of guys that choke down the stretch. And you're never going to win it with guys that choke down the stretch, because here's what's going to happen. I'll tell you what's going to happen. Auburn will beat Tennessee on Saturday. All right, Ziegler's out. It's in Neville. They'll beat Tennessee. They'll win a game or two in the SEC tournament, and they'll make the NCAA tournament. They'll win their first-round game. They'll be up in their second-round game late, and they'll choke it away again, because that's who this team is. I'm surprised you don't have somebody that's represented by the Heimlich maneuver walking around Auburn's campus in case one of these guys choke walk into class. How many times can you possibly choke and blow the game? It's on you, not the refs. I watched the whole game.
Man, Auburn put up a great fight last night, though. They really did put up a great fight. When you look at the personnel on the court, like, they were just outclassed. And I get that they were up 17. I get that they blew a lead. But, I mean, down the stretch, even Alan Flanagan hit some big shots to keep him in the game. KD Johnson hit some big shots to keep him in the game. The spread was 10. You took Alabama minus what?
9.
Minus 9?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, for them to even have a lead down the stretch late in the game on the road, you know, in Coleman Coliseum, they put up a good fight,
You think about it, like, you say keep it in the game. They were up 17.
I know.
Like,
You know what I'm saying?
You blew it.
They keep it
Like you and
against
Bruce,
the team,
like
every time they went down the lane, like, they're dealing
you
with
knew it
Betty
as an
Ockham in
Auburn
the
fan.
paint.
You could smell it from
For
a
sure. Well, I've
mile
watched these
away.
guys.
There's none of these guys who will put their foot on someone's throat and do what they have to do. Bama's got a couple guys like that. That's for sure. They don't have a guy down the stretch at 9, I swear. And I love Bruce Pearl, and I hope he's the head coach for Auburn basketball forever. But if he takes another timeout to overtime, for no reason that you can't take.
Stop
if I
letting
have to
Wendell
watch
Green miss
10 to
game-winning
15
shots.
seconds left in the last possession to where a play doesn't get drawn up, we panic. We try to get a guy to come out late to set a screen. He doesn't. And Wendell or KD have to shoot a fadeaway three or a fadeaway jumper to win the game. I'm going to throw it.
It's
That's
every
funny you
time,
say that because I was
man.
wondering. I was thinking in real time the opposite. I was thinking like, you know what? Don't call timeout here. You've got Alabama on their place, on the ropes. Come down and just let your playmakers just hit a shot without overthinking a drawn-up play. But I get it. I get it. When you have the problem of the best shooters, the worst shooters on your team taking the shots in late minutes, then yes, you have to draw up a play, which that is an Auburn problem.
Yeah. Well, here's the problem. Auburn has tried that way last night in the last, waning seconds the whole year.
Okay.
Like they've tried it the whole year. Wendell Green Jr. should never be allowed to take another game-winning shot. This man cannot make it. He can't make it. I wonder how many game-winning shots Wendell Green Jr. has missed. It's got to be at least 5. I mean, they try, even going back to last year, they try and give this guy the shot I would have rather you given Trey Donaldson the shot. Or maybe
Trey played good.
He was making clutch shots. At least give somebody who hasn't had a chance. Wendell Green is going to miss it. He is going to miss it when it counts. That's who he is. That's who. I'm sorry. You can sit here and say, "Oh well, it's tough and you play good, whatever." Look, you're to the point now. You play to win the game, dog. You blew it last night, and congrats to Alabama.
Yeah,
that was a team win by Alabama.
A gutsy win. That win will help them in the tournament too.
That shows you the difference between Auburn basketball and Alabama basketball. And Auburn don't have that dog in them.
And if you want to go on the road, and beat the number 2 team in the country with better personnel,
Jared Harper,
you cannot miss free throws.
Jared Harper had that dog in him, killer.
Yeah.
Bryce Brown had that dog in him, killer. Chuma Okeke had that dog in him, killer. There ain't a damn player on this Auburn roster that's got any dog in them when it counts, and you can see it. They'll do it. They'll do it against Murray State.
I mean,
they'll do it
were
against
the biggest thing.
Ole Miss.
Like you can't miss free throws.
You put somebody up against them with a pulse, and they'll choke like they just tried to just eat a glizzy in one bite. Choke artists, bro. It's the truth. I'm sorry. And y'all know me. I love Bruce. This is a team full of choke artists. If you gave them a canvas and a paintbrush and told them all to paint what they're thinking, they draw somebody choking. You want to know why they're choking?
I just don't like seeing the same mistakes.
Look, you are who you are, dog.
So, I mean.
I'm sorry.
We got Leo Borman out there playing anyways. So how good can it really be? You better not miss again. You got me playing out there, Dave.
Yeah, you better not miss again in recruiting.
We ready for trivia?
Yep, let's get into it.
Yeah, I'm.
Justine, we ready for trivia back there?
Trivia, don't worry.
Okay, let's get it.
This trivia question is from Booster Club member Noah.
Ooh,
you will have 1 minute
friend of Moses
to answer this. The question is, only 6 teams seeded 10 or higher in the NCAA tournament have made the Final Four. Who are those 6 teams?
All right, tell me we're on the clock.
Now.
Loyola Chicago.
Correct.
I think George Mason.
Correct.
South Carolina.
No.
God, Wichita State, maybe?
Did Wichita make the Final Four?
Hold on. Repeat the question. What's the question?
Wichita State make the Final Four?
6 teams seeded 10 or higher have made
How
the Final
about Villanova?
Four.
I think Villanova did it one year.
No. They were like a 9, 8 or a 9.
Okay, and this is a 12 or higher?
This is 10.
Come on, Bishop Club.
10 or higher. All right, so I've already got George Mason. I've got Loyola Chicago. Give me North Carolina?
No. An SEC school's in there.
Maybe
I
said South Carolina didn't work.
What was Auburn ranked?
Auburn.
No.
No, that's wrong.
Recently, UCLA.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Good call.
UCLA, yeah, because they've been in the play.
Yeah. You said how many? You said 6?
We'll restart it to another minute to give you 2 full minutes.
Oh.
You're halfway there.
Give us 30 seconds.
Now there's a minute because you just killed a minute.
So we have UCLA.
Loyola Chicago.
George Mason.
George Mason.
Still have not gotten the SEC school.
LSU.
Yes.
Nice.
How
many more?
8.
2 more.
2 more.
Oh, wasn't there a team? It's not Wichita State, but same colors.
I know who you're thinking.
Same colors.
I said Loyola Chicago.
No, same colors. It's like 2010 or something like that. God, was it like VCU?
Yes.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
What do we got?
One more. ACC. Not Virginia.
No.
Give me-
ACC.
Give me.
I don't know.
Syracuse.
I think that's
Yes.
right.
Yes.
I like the Syracuse.
There we
pick.
go.
I think they were at
I
11.
gave you a lot of hints, but
Yeah.
you know. You
Well,
guys did
yeah.
well.
I mean,
You did
conference
well.
wise.
I thought
Don't give
Davidson
us
was
hints
in
and then
there.
tell
I
us you
thought
gave us
Davidson
hints,
made it to the
Justine.
Final Four.
I know, I'm
TJ.
sorry, but no, you did
This
well.
girl.
All right. Well, I'm going to head over to the board. Let's Booster Club while I'm walking over.
Freeway Jared, $5 donation.
What's up?
Let's not be on too long about this one. He says, AU last night was a prime example. The home advantage means more in college basketball than any other sports. Refs truly feed off energy and
I would say college football, man.
Minimum.
I would say college football, I think, is the biggest home field advantage.
I don't know. I feel like if you're a better team in football, you're still going to win even
Well,
if you go
like-
on the road.
well,
Like if it's close, maybe. But like a team can go on the road in college basketball and legitimately lose even though they're the better team.
Well, like I feel like basketball's more free flowing, so the noise doesn't. It's not like you're taking a snap. Like if I'm on the road in football, like pre-snap, I can't hear. You know,
What about
maybe you
free
can compare
throws?
it to free throws, but I mean, you're taking more snaps than free throws, right? It's a great argument. I think. What do you look at decibel level? Like, is that the best way to determine it? Do you say regardless of the rules of the game, you just look at decibel level? Because one is in a closed space. The other one is in an open space. I would wonder which one actually has a higher decibel level. That's a great question, actually.
All right, SGB Trust Tree. The Sweet Baby Gang Trust Tree.
That right there is.
I like that. It's a good combination.
that's how you
talking
beat
merch.
Thanos.
What's going on? It says making Jake's draft come true. Release Tannehill and Willis. Sign Carson Wentz.
Oh,
No.
Yes.
Come on, man.
Do it.
Come on, man.
Do
ugh.
it.
I wouldn't sign Carson Wentz to open doors for people in front of a hotel.
Do it.
With that little hat with a bell on it.
Let's go to Dinkin and Nora. Hashtag guys, Crain and Company. The Cincinnati Bengals release Joe Mixon.
They did?
Officially?
Should.
Oh.
Should they?
Well,
That was
I don't-
another spot where I thought Bijan Robinson might could come in and do some work.
Dude, you put Bijan
Put
next to
Bijan in
Joey B,
Cincinnati.
T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase, and the Ginger Viking, Hayden Hurst.
All right, let's go to Censored and Censored. Had a parlay with the Alabama money line and Mizzou minus 4.5 last night. Mizzou was down 13.5. Bama down 17 in the second half. Both hit. Give me my money.
Aren't those the best, though? The
That's
best
college basketball for you.
The best ones are the ones you give up on, and then you like wake up the next morning. You're like, they won by 5.
Let's go to Matty Ice 1994. Can we talk some more about my Sacramento Kings? I'm sure they will choke in the playoffs, but they are definitely showing potential.
Hey, how about
crew.
how about the Sacramento Kings are going to make the playoffs and the Lakers aren't? I love it. I love it. No, we'll talk about the Kings and the NHL playoff race tomorrow. By the way, guys, didn't get your bets before. Let's get them right now. Here's what I got tonight. Give me FAU and Rice over 154 scoring festival. And then my second one, give me Rutgers, Illinois, and Arizona all money line. That's plus 220. Coney, what do you got?
Michigan on the road at Illinois +4.
Like that? What's that at?
-110.
Okay.
And then I want Houston and Purdue money line -172.
Love it. Blaine,
Yes.
what's your bets?
Give me the Rangers minus 1.5
Okay. What's that at?
plus a dirty 140.
Ooh. Okay.
And then
Indeed.
give me the Panthers minus 1.5 plus 136 versus the Predators.
All right.
Easy money.
Coneth, what is baby thinking?
He said Rangers money line -175
Okay.
and Lightning money line -165. I guess he's going all hockey.
I want all hockey too.
Yeah.
God, I can't wait to start betting Nerfies.
Oh, I know. It's coming back, isn't it?
Nerfies. Living that Nerfie
The
life,
Nerfie
Dave.
train.
You
You were
started that. Some
so
people don't realize.
hot,
You started the
Nerfie,
Nerfie.
no runs.
You and,
first inning.
you and your Moneyball
I
guy.
had a Moneyball manager.
You
We
did.
discussed a lot of things.
Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill, yeah.
You're just Jonah Hilling around here.
Yeah.
God, I love when you Jonah Hill everywhere.
Poll.
Oh,
A little early, but I want to go ahead and get out the way. Are you watching the Combine? This is for the fans, not us.
Oh.
Are you watching the Combine?
are we talking about live or highlight?
Yes, live.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
All right.
Yes, no, undecided.
I'm gonna say no. 43%.
Yeah, they said no 50 50%.
No. 70%. Yes, 17%. Undecided, 13.
You 13% need to go and make a decision. All right, y'all need to stop being so
They have time.
indecisive.
They have time.
No, you got the way I see it. You got 7
don't make them
minutes.
franchise tag just yet.
You got 7
This is
minutes. No, I need to know.
exclusive tag.
Yeah, where I'm exclusively tagging you right now for the franchise.
All right, let's go to Texas Ed. He says, my favorite was every coach surrounding Brandon Miller last night to make sure he didn't engage in a fight under the basket.
Well, yeah, that and they didn't do the takeoff celebration, which, obviously was smart after the.
God, they're just a PR disaster.
Just
right now.
disaster.
So
Like, who's over
surprising.
there
It's so surprising just because at Bama with Saban's just like,
Yeah,
I'm
you
going
would
to do
think.
everything right.
Mhm.
And then you get to Nate Oates. He's like, I don't know where I am.
And it's just like, wrong place, wrong time.
They're really good, though, man. They might win it. Let's go to Joe Huff. What's up, Joe? Personal responsibility. I'm not blaming Kirby, UGA, for personal actions. I'm not judging anyone. I used to drive fast when I was younger, but I had to pay my tickets.
Yeah, well, again, look, it's you can only imprint so much on somebody. They've got to go out and do it and actually make those decisions. I think that's why, parents worry so much. It's like, yeah, I've taught him everything that he's supposed to learn, whatever. But when you're in that moment and you have to make that decision, are you going to choose to try and be cool? Are you going to choose to try and make the right decision? And that's what a lot of this comes down to. And you just hope that you choose to make the right decision, because at the end of the day, for you young kids that's not there, the right decision is the cool decision.
All right, start, bench, cut.
All right.
All right. Derek Carr, old Kirky Cousins, and Jake's favorite Ryan Tannehill.
I'm starting Kirk Cousins. I'm benching Derek Carr and Ryan Tannehill. Get out, dog!
Yeah, that's what I'm doing too. I could see a scenario where you start Derek Carr, but I got to cut Tannehill.
Yeah. Sorry, Ryan.
Starting Derek. Kirk, sit on the bench and don't look at me the entire
Yeah,
game.
you want to know how much Blaine doesn't believe in Ryan Tannehill? He's willing to put Kirk Cousins on the bench.
But I will say this. For a guy who was a wide receiver in college, like Ryan Tannehill was, heck of a career. You exceeded
Look,
what?
all
Nobody's
expectations.
saying Ryan Tannehill in the grand scheme of things is bad at.
Oh, no, you won at life.
No, like, you're rich. Congrats. Like, for sure. What I'm saying is, when it comes down to being one of the top 32 quarterbacks in the world,
Which you have to be to start.
I just don't think you're one of them.
Let's go to Cruzito. Says, I live in Arizona.
Congrats.
Who should I go watch for spring training? I can only go to one game.
All right, who's in Arizona for spring training? So you got some guys in Florida, you got some guys in Arizona. That's what I would ask. I don't know who's all playing spring training in Arizona. I need you to look into these questions.
I don't
before we
look,
start
man.
asking.
There's too many. What do you mean? You want me to
Like,
look
I need you to research this.
I need y'all to know this. all
You
right?
need me.
I need
Hold
y'all
on.
to
Yeah,
know
hold on.
this. The
Diamondbacks? Yeah, the
D-backs
Angels.
game?
The Angels.
Go D-backs.
Because they
And
might
you know
win
what?
something.
Now that he had to do all that,
Yeah.
Exactly.
shut down for a little bit.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let's go to Matty Ice 9094. Can you say get out of here about Tannehill with the Tony Perkins voice?
Yes.
Because Ryan Tannehill is out of here, baby.
Get off the scale.
Yeah, turn the camera on.
Texas
How am I
Ed-
supposed to teach an infomercial sell an infomercial about fat kids losing weight if you don't lose any weight? Turn the camera back on. All right.
Let's go to Jared Grubb. Says, which other Daily Wire show has the most crossover audience with your show?
I don't know. Y'all ask them.
Yeah. Y'all know the answer
Ask
to
them.
that. I don't know.
Which other Daily Wire
Unhide
show are you
fight?
guys watching the most?
Let's go to Bobby C. Note. Says, hey, fellas.
What up?
Trivia question for you.
Hit
Can't
me.
wait. Can you name the 3 D1 football players that are also playing D1 lacrosse? 2 are playing at the same school, and 1 is a grad transfer.
I don't know, but probably John Rice Plumlee.
No,
because
no,
that kid's
Darnell
playing,
Washington.
that kid's playing every
No,
other
I
thing.
saw somebody. Is it Maryland? Does he play for Maryland? There was a football player that's playing lacrosse that I think plays running back or wide receiver that was absolutely breaking every rich white kid down they were playing against. I hadn't seen rich white kids broken down like that since the last SEC investigation in Wall Street. It was amazing.
All right, let's go to...
Dude, somebody said,
What?
did you see that thing they talked about, the Jeffrey Dahmer thing? About
No.
it? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
He said some dude said I'm not watching the Jeffrey Dahmer documentary because if I want to see a white dude cut a bunch of black guys down, I'll watch Cooper Kupp.
Oh man,
I thought that was a great one. I thought that was an all-timer.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Let's go to Texas Ed. He says, does Stetson Bennett get drafted for his QB leadership skills since he doesn't have the physical tools to do good in the NFL?
Stetson Bennett?
Yeah.
I mean, he has some pretty good physical tools, man. I mean, look, he's not gonna win the combine.
Going to the
anything like
Ravens.
that.
Going to the Ravens. Going to play
Todd
for
Monken.
Todd Monken. Rekindle the connection.
Yes,
I
they have
think,
so
to be
many
honest
natty
with you-
lights in Baltimore. They have all the natty lights Stetson Bennett could ever do.
Texas should just take him at 2, to be honest.
Just do
Take
it.
him. He's a winner.
You got Davis Mills.
He's a winner.
Stetson Bennett, Davis Mills.
Come
in the
on.
quarterback room.
Come
Oh
on.
my God.
I think the best thing for Stetson was go be the backup for the Vikings.
Now, if I'm Stetson, let me just.
Him and Kirk, Spider-Man GIF.
Yeah, no. The best thing for Stetson is just go be a backup at like a legitimate team. Here's what'll happen: Stetson Bennett will go be like the Chiefs' backup, and he'll win. Like now that Henny's done, he'll go be the backup for Mahomes. Win like 4
Get a couple Super Bowls.
For
yeah.
sure. That's exactly what happened to Stetson Bennett. All right, we appreciate you guys. Make sure you subscribe, follow us on all social medias. Shout out to Rusty Mansell. Go sign up for the Daily Wire Plus as well. Some great stuff over there. Got a great show tomorrow. Danny Cannell is going to be joining us. Make sure you don't miss that one. Then we got a huge show on Monday, and coming up next week, we got some big-time guests. We appreciate you guys, and like the chances of Wendell Green making a game-winning shot when it counts, we're going, gone.